Hey guys, evening from New Zealand. Of course it's the evening in New Zealand, isn't it? Hi Debbie O'Connor.
Setting up YouTube.
Hi guys, we're live over here.
I'm making the coffee.
Excuse my dirty hands, I've just been in the garden pushing compost around. Look, and I got, oh nasty splinter. Good morning, hope you had a good day off yesterday, Katie Johnston. It's so nice to be back. It's like missing your lover. It's like we were away for a day and now we're back. I mean, literally, it was 24 hours from this time yesterday, wasn't it? That's the longest we've been off air, so to speak. We missed you. Did you miss us? Give us a quick yes or no. Did you miss us, or were you blessedly relieved not to see our stupid mugs ploughing around all over YouTube? Did you miss us? Yes or no? We want to feel the love, or not feel the love. Yes, everyone did, yes.
Where is the love?
Where is the love?
Where is the love?
Where is it gone? We're back, we're recharged, we're revitalised, but I'm sure within 6 hours we'll be exhausted. Because everyone is in this strange time. As Maddie coined the phrase recently, she said, Dad, Mum, even sleeping's tiring. Didn't she? You upstaged with your fluorescent outfit.
I did it on purpose, look.
Yeah.
Got this
Oh,
bra.
you're so, I can
Look
just see you at school.
Look at this bra, guys.
Do we have, all right, yeah.
Look at
yeah,
this.
We haven't got any choice.
It's fantastic. It's from Amazon. It is a bit nylon, I will admit, but it's not nylon uncomfortable, but it might be a bit smelly.
What sound does it make when you fire it across the room?
My boobs hardly jump. It's really
Okay.
good.
All
So
right.
anyway, so...
See, if I filmed that and showed it, she'd be like, Mark, what are you showing my boobs bouncing?
But, so, I'll be wearing this when I jump around for 80s aerobics, 11:30 on Instagram. Don't forget.
Okay, good. Well, there you go. What can we do with that? She's done her bit and she's wandered off.
I'm getting my coffee now.
She does look amazing, doesn't she? Yes, it was my birthday. Debbie Sanderson yesterday and got loads of flowers by post.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Debbie Sanderson. Happy birthday to you.
You've got a very funny vlog going up later, which is the next chapter of our most appalling attempts to sing. I hasten to add, it was all Nadia's idea. I was merely the organ grinder that came in and changed the lyrics. So do not think, as you look at us standing there warbling like idiots later, that we really thought we were good or cool, because we weren't. I'm thinking of all sorts of things that are going to happen today. So what's in the news? What's in the news? Immunity certificates. Would you have one? Would you use one? Do you think they're good things? Are they going to tell us anything? Can you tell if someone is truly immune to this disease? That's my concern. I don't know if you can.
Well...
I don't know if you... I think we'll wait until you're over here, babe. It's very hard for you to talk off camera.
Sorry.
Nadia's got some information on that. So, but I do keep hearing, and Nadia will testify to this in a minute, that it's not as clear cut as when you've had the disease, you are just immune. Because, you can get false negatives, false positives, or you can fight off the virus and not have antibodies. That's the thing I'm really interested in hearing from Miss Sawalha, is how can you fight it off and not have antibodies? That's what I want to know. So there's immunity certificates. Priti Patel, bless her, the most charming person in British politics, alongside Matt Hancock. Full of the natural qualities of human warmth and compassion and empathy. A truly thoughtful, caring, considerate woman is going to announce that quarantine will be coming in, I think, on June the 15th.
What do you mean?
For anyone travelling to the UK, quarantine. So people will go into 14 days quarantine and be fined £1,000 if they're not at the address they tell people they're going to be at. So we're going to have quarantine police. This is turning into 2000 AD, isn't it, Judge Dredd? It's so exciting.
I don't like that.
So quarantine's happening. I think it's also going to be applicable to...
I don't like quarantine police.
It's applicable to people coming back from holiday as well, isn't it?
I just think the world's going mad now. I think we've gone a bit mad.
You think we've got a bit mad?
I think we've gone we're going a bit crazy. First of all, you only have to listen to the police, right? We are so under-policed in this country.
Crime has gone down by 32%.
Yeah, but
maybe we need to be in quarantine
remember
more.
how underfunded the police were
I
then,
agree.
we still don't have enough police. No way.
But the silver
and
lining.
now they're going to be going. I'd love to hear what the police say about Priti Patel
No,
suggesting
I think
this.
they're going to create a new force to deal with it, sort of like a sort of what they call the people at the airports.
Specials.
The airport people that kind of run around making sure people aren't coming
Security.
in that shouldn't be coming in. No, the
Customs, borders officers.
border control
Got nothing
people.
left to give.
Border control people. I'm sure it'll be part of their job. But isn't that weird that crime has gone down? It's like, how weird that we've got law-abiding criminals.
Nah, crime hasn't gone down.
Law-abiding
Crime has
criminals.
just changed and gone underground.
Well, yes, it has, but there's only...
Because as we know, the tubes are full of people pretending to be key workers delivering drugs. Crime has just changed.
Yeah.
And apparently they've moved out, a lot of the dealers have moved out to the other towns. Just changed. It's all going to mushroom.
They're dealing mushrooms. That's what they're doing. We did a big chat really the other night about Superdrug. I think it might have been the live that I did one night which disappeared. No test is ever going to be 100%, and no test is ever going to be completely free. I do think, perhaps it's a bit out of the reach. I do wonder, there was someone talking at some point about the idea that perhaps we need to have, maybe everyone in the country is entitled to a free test eventually. Maybe,
Absolutely.
I
That's
think
what Boris said at the beginning.
I think at some point, rather than being charged, and I do think, I suppose there is a sort of commercially brutal element to bringing one onto the market prior to it being available to all, because you are going to steal a march, and there's going to be a lot of people who do dip their hand in their pocket, so you're going to make a bit of money.
So the Abbott test, which is the government-approved one, a friend of mine definitely had coronavirus. And she was diagnosed by a top coronavirus doctor over the phone.
Did he have a big C on his forehead?
Because she had so many symptoms. There was
Yeah.
no way that she didn't have coronavirus. Anyway, she's had an antibody test and it came back negative. And she's kind of devastated because she went through this really massive illness and she feels like now she's protected because she's
Morning,
had
Ashley.
it. But anyway, now it turns out that actually it's only 97%. And there are false negatives. There's not false positives. If they say you're positive, you've just definitely got antibodies. But Kay's just sent me something really interesting. This is from the same professor that we read the article about yesterday, Professor Sunitra Gupta, I think her name is. And she's the professor from Oxford University who gave one model on how they think the virus would work through the community and what they felt the government might what rules and regulations the government might want to make around that. And then there was the imperial one, which our scientists, Whitty and all that lot, come from. So anyway, so they have very differing points of view.
Right.
And in this, I haven't had time to watch it yet. It's a half-hour film. I'm going to watch it tonight so I can tell. I'm going to watch it today so I can tell you tonight, in the live tonight, what it says. But apparently, not everybody that has coronavirus produces antibodies.
Yeah.
This is just the headline of it. I haven't watched the actual film yet. Their body finds different ways to fight it.
Wow.
So you could possibly, I suppose, have a situation where you can only get the license if you've got antibodies, but you could still be immune to getting it in a different way, and yet you couldn't get this license because you haven't got the official antibodies.
Wow.
I think that's what it means.
How do you fight something without antibodies?
I don't know. But as I say, I haven't watched the film. And
Do they use a cricket bat?
Kay's just sent it, so I will watch it today and I will tell you later.
Penny Shrimpton. I have heard this. Have you heard? The 50 days on lockdown, 30 days off lockdown till 2022 is what scientists are suggesting to the government. There's so many things that have been suggested. I just
don't think we can do that. I genuinely... No. The other thing that this Oxford professor talked about was the fact that this is very much a middle-class lockdown. There's a real class divide on how you can deal with lockdown. And this is why we always say we don't moan about our lockdown because we're surviving very nicely, thank you very much. Tens of thousands of people are losing their jobs. The economy is down the pan. People that live in domestic violence homes are in living hell. 50,000 more people they think will die of cancer this year. We can't do this. We're going to have to find a way to live with this virus.
I just took receipt of 2 tons of compost from a chap who has, as he said to me, he said, I've got no choice when it comes to punters like you wanting this stuff. I'm going to have to get close to you.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said all this bullshit about let's all be he said there's a certain type of person who can afford to be cautious.
Yeah.
He said there are certain trades
Well, they can't.
He's got to get on. He's got
He's got
16 deliveries.
he's
gonna,
got his job.
He's got his job, and I really felt for him. I tried to offer him a double espresso, making my friend, but he was having none of it, and I got a splinter. Keris, I was holding her for you.
Keris, thank you. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Keris,
I was holding that for you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Generosity.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You should watch the interviews on Unheard. Professor Gupta, Oxford University, who says it's possible the epidemic is on the way out and we could come out of lockdown
I keep
faster.
hearing this.
I would really recommend, as you know, we just like to give you things that we're interested in. Go and have a read of it. Go and watch the film, and let's have a chat about it tonight.
Can I also just make a point, as Nadia rushes off again? Can I just make a quick point? I was talking about this about 6 weeks ago. An Israeli virologist was talking about if you left it and did nothing, if no country had done anything at all, you would have had the same number of deaths and it would have run its course. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's interesting. I do think the longevity of this virus is suffering. And another fact I just want to quickly get in, please, was this morning I was reading that though they can't definitively say that warm weather is better with the disease, some very detailed studies in today's Times show that in UV light, it survives for far less, for a far more reduced time than it does within an interior situation.
Oh, really?
So UV is sun. Sun usually is hot. And so outdoor stuff, the disease really erodes and deactivates very, very quickly.
Do you think that's why, part of the reasons why in Kerala, with 25 million in India, there's only been 4 deaths?
Possibly, and I think the reason you're getting these strange enigmas in hot countries, I actually think personally, is because they have a lot of aircon. So, like Saudi Arabia was really struggling at one point, and I think, and then also in places like Brazil, where you've got the favelas and you've got lots of incredibly poor people living in, you're creating a microclimate, aren't you? Of sort of, it might be hot, but it might not necessarily be sunny. It's quite shadowy. So if you're in the shadow of all those favelas in a hot country, you've got the heat, which I think might support it, but you haven't got the UV light necessarily hitting it and all those. So I do think that there are some curious details here. So if you're standing in the middle of a field and someone coughs at you, you're in a much safer situation than anywhere else.
So guys, have a watch of this. It's Sunetra, Sunetra, Gupta. COVID-19 is on the way out, Unheard. Unheard.com.
Yeah.
And this is the epidemiologist, highly qualified professor working from Oxford University. So this isn't just a quack. Yeah. So I'll be really interested. Let's all watch it, and then we'll have that as our chat later.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tracy Lindsay, my friend was in hospital, tested positive for COVID, got the antibody test 5 weeks later, came back negative. How long do antibodies last before they turn into memory antibodies? I haven't seen Holly on here for a while. I mean, all this kind of stuff. Once again, we are in such the early days of understanding this disease.
Yeah.
That but here. Do you want some more statistics?
Yeah.
I've got some fab statistics. So the government last month borrowed more money last month than it borrowed the entire year before. That gives you a sense of it's a year's borrowing for a nation in a month.
That's why we've got to think
and we're doing it for 3 months.
I mean, I know we've been big fans of lockdown, and I think it had to happen, but we are going to have to get this economy back on its feet, because there are worse things that could happen to a nation, aren't there?
And Tilly Sanders, you're right. There are theories that it spreads through heating and air conditioning and all that kind of stuff. And for me, that's the one thing that the aviation industry has to sort out.
Yeah, because I wouldn't get on a plane because of that.
I'm not a big fan now. I have heard that some of the aircon units on some airplanes deliver a purer form of air than in some offices. So it's not to say all of them, but certain models of airplanes don't. So I do think the aviation industry, it's not just about let's get everyone back on the planes and flying around the planet as quickly as possible again, because everyone wants, I know that Greece, they're talking about these air bridges, aren't they? Greece is going to allow flights into Athens. There's going to be a trade-off between sort of sunny destinations that Brits like to travel to and the countries in question. They're going to have specific agreements where if you just fly to one place, you're allowed to go there. So yeah, I think I think the aviation industry needs to not just keep sort of, obviously they're struggling, but they also need to put in some assurances. If they put in the assurances, more people will get on flights.
Dawn Claire Coates, exactly. We're all going to be paying back for this borrowing.
Oh, of course.
And yes, last
in
night
stealth tax, I think.
Yeah, and also on the pension. What were they talking about yesterday on Sky Papers? Negative interest.
Well, these negative interest rates. The thing about the negative interest rates, Peter Hitchens was very funny. I can't stand him. He's a right-wing, rabid Daily Mail Tory, but. The world's gone bloody bonkers when I'm sat there in the evening I'm agreeing with everything Peter Hitchens, is it? Yeah, Peter Hitchens was saying. Sorry, what were you just saying before that?
Well, they're going to give negative interest, which has never happened.
Now, there's a lot of press about this. So yes, of course, negative interest rates will mean that if you've saved money, you will effectively be paying the bank for the privilege of having that money.
Let's just pause on that,
well, yeah,
because you're talking very fast. That's what they're talking about.
So it's the reverse of earning interest on your money. But let's just pause on that for a minute. The vast majority of people in the world borrow and are in debt rather than have savings.
Yeah.
So we are talking about a minority.
That's not fair on the minority.
It's not fair on the minority. No, you're absolutely right. We're talking about a microscopic percentage, which would amount to, on any one savings, the equivalent to a sort of operating fee by a bank.
Right.
The main reason for this, and I think we all have to kind of scoot behind it as a suggestion, is the Bank of England's doing it because it means that the British government will not have to go onto an austerity package again. They can borrow much more because they're actually going to make money out of borrowing.
Right.
So if the government can borrow, so actually this is all about enabling the government.
Trying to get the government back.
So if this is a microscopic move to prevent as many, and there are going to be stealth taxes coming, I think it's going to be very hard for the government to hit the population with income tax increases, even for the wealthy, when everyone's being squeezed. Everyone's being squeezed. But I do think we just have to get a bit of perspective on that. Yes, it's a bit perverse and a bit curious and a bit strange that people with savings and pension pots and what have you are going to be paying a bit for that service of having money.
But it's not as bad as it sounds.
Well, it's not as bad as it sounds because the trade-off is going to be a nation able to borrow and fund jobs and expansion again. So
Eileen Mullins, who is our furthest north sub, she says. I'm in Thurso, 20 miles from John O'Groats.
Wow, welcome. Hello.
Hi, Eileen.
Well, welcome. You've been here a while, clearly. John O'Groats. John O'Groats is right down the bottom, isn't it?
Louise Jones. In the end, I think we're going to have to live with this virus. The government won't be able to sustain paying out, and of course, it will be the poor that pay for this. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Oh, Lisa.
Oh,
hi, Lisa.
Lisa. I'll call you later, darling. I think so. I mean, you know how we've always said all the way through lockdown, we're not going to moan, we're not going to complain, and I felt guilty about having a garden. I felt guilty about so many things. Because it hasn't been that painful, but I'm thinking about people that have to just work.
I'm thinking about my mate out there who's just delivering stuff. I mean,
but also people that are losing the job. 9,000 jobs lost a couple of days ago. Rolls-Royce. 9,000.
Yeah, we're not talking about
jobs.
small numbers here. I think that was a tenth of its workforce. That's massive.
Yeah, and if you think of all the companies that are doing that, and and Facebook saying, they're going to get people to work from home. There's going to be so many jobs lost, and I'm more worried about the economy really than I am about coronavirus. And you know how worried I've been about coronavirus.
There's going to be a massive transference of skill sets, even more than there was already, towards tech. I think we're going to see a resurgence in tech related jobs, and how many jobs are going to be adjusted now for tech purposes.
Where are all the young people going to work?
I've got two huge concerns that came through from yesterday. How the hell are young students going to fit back into a hospitality
No pubs,
community?
no bars, no
restaurants,
no
cafes and all that are going to have to reduce their capacity. Now, we can all talk about everything opening again, brilliant, but I think even Rishi Sunak was saying this yesterday. He said, but everything's going to open at 50% capacity, so you may as well let's just halve everyone's profits and halve everyone's turnover. You're going to have to halve the workforce too.
Oh, no.
Then, on top of that, the punters going in, the
but
public aren't going to have
nothing.
as much. Absolutely, it's better than nothing. But the other thing that I was reading last night, and this is very dear to us because we're a family of performers, we love the creative arts, is that something like 1,000 theatres are on the verge of closing for good. When you hear things like the National Theatre and the Globe and the Lyceum, I think, is it, in Edinburgh, so they're all on the verge of bankruptcy. What you're realising is that so many of these companies, charities as well, their margin. So the margin is how much profit you've got as a company. What we're discovering is that so many businesses, What keeps them afloat is the amount of business they get in just a 6-week period. That's the difference.
6 weeks can mess it all
And
up.
that's 6
why
weeks.
we've got to start looking at a way out. Keris Entwistle, I saw that. Professor Carol Sikora, you know, my crush, my coronavirus crush, has just tweeted that there could be cross-immunity from the common cold, coronaviruses, which may provide us with protection. That's right.
So that could be why you
won't
don't
necessarily
show.
show your antibody,
Yeah.
but you've had a cross-antibody from some other coronavirus,
Right.
which has been around us for so long.
So it might be that Maddie didn't quite get the coronavirus that came now, but she had another sort of thing, and that might mean that she was not ill.
No,
from coronavirus?
that she could have had COVID-19.
Well, it could be-
Say we do the test on her and she
Yeah.
doesn't have the antibodies.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean she didn't have COVID-19. What could have happened was that a cross from another coronavirus, cold that she may have had 6 months ago, might have fought the COVID-19. They're talking about crossover antibodies from other coronaviruses killing COVID-19.
So we're all taking tests in order to just see if it possibly comes out positive.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Because if it comes out negative, it means everything's up for
I don't know.
grabs.
I want to watch that film.
No, but it's true. I think that's the kind of situation we're in. There are so many variables and questionables that unless you get the only definitive as a positive result, you go yippee-de-doo-dah, positive.
Yeah, but you could get a false negative.
Yeah, false negative.
You could get a false
Lisa,
negative.
look, lovely Lisa.
Oh, watch Dr. Campbell from 2 days ago. I'm excited, Sharon. I haven't watched Dr. Campbell for ages.
Sorry, Lisa. I always like to do the Spanish. Majuto.
Majuto, Lisa Majuto.
Me duele los huevos. How am I ever going to slap makeup on your gorgeous face again? I mean, this is question.
We will find a way.
How?
We will find a way.
Lisa, maybe you'll need to get one of those body condom suits. I'm up for seeing Lisa in a body condom. You might have to just,
Body
it might be as simple as that
condom.
you have goggles and a whole kind of thingy on and you put stuff on their faces, but you breathe in and breathing. God, Lisa, you're just going to be so cool.
Lisa, by the way, I'm doing Live's 80s aerobics for 20 minutes at 11:30.
Lisa, whatever rocks your boat. As long as you've got a mask and a body condom on, I'm happy.
I think because we had it in the title, we should say a little bit something about the sunbathing yesterday.
Yes.
Because lots of people
Well,
are going on.
trending on all the news stories are the sun seekers over the last couple of days going to return us to square one? Can we ask that question? Let's do a yes,
I don't
no.
think so.
Yes or no? Because I think when I asked this the other night, it was a 2-meter makeup brush, Janet Smith. That's absolutely it. I might devise one on a selfie stick.
Yeah.
Do it on a selfie stick. It's retractable.
At least make one. Get the boys
Yes
to
or
make
no?
you one, a 2 meter makeup brush.
Yes or no? Are we going to go back to square one? Good chance.
Mostly yes, but some no's. Nicole
3
Marcelo,
no's
Leggy
only.
Blonde,
Yeah.
no. Dawny, no. Joanna, Mandy Nanny, no. Sue Johns, no.
They
But
are
everyone
outdoors,
else is yes.
so no, Oliver Masterson.
Right. This is what I think, but just a
50-50.
caveat before I say it, because obviously I'm not a professional, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an epidemiologist.
That's a con then. You always told me you were a professional.
But in my opinion, from what I'm gathering, from everything we've heard and watched over the months, we saw a very packed Clapham Common, but what we saw were people with 2 meters distance.
Yeah.
They were in their groups and they were 2 meter distance. As our friend Lee said the other day, a peak won't mean a peak like before. We've got no shops, we've got no football, we've got no theatre, no cinema, no da. We might get little peaks and troughs and little peaks and troughs. But as they keep saying to us, because we could be living with this virus for the next 2 years, I think that's something we're going to have to get a hold of. And most people who are most vulnerable to it are absolutely shielding now. You know, the elderly and people with multiple underlying conditions are shielded. I doubt very much there was anyone in their 70s and 80s on the beach yesterday. I doubt very much there was anybody on the beach yesterday with cancer or any of the other, underlying health conditions that they COPD.
Yeah.
And so maybe that is going to be our new norm.
I also think, do we all remember the fuss and worry that we had, and we still do to a degree, of MRSA? I think even when Nanny Thelma went into hospital, they talked about her having tested positive. She had something that was a sort of vulnerability in hospitals. I think we're going to get to a situation, sadly, where care homes and hospitals are going to be where the outbreaks start from. We're not even thinking about the possible causes for concern in September. I'm hoping and trusting that we will all develop a degree of antibody immunity, or that it just won't be as as fatal a disease as we perhaps worry it could be.
Hope.
We
don't
hope.
know.
I just want to quickly share Tracy Lindsay. This is a lovely comment from Tracy. Nicola Sturgeon made a point. I have to say, Nicola Sturgeon's played a blinder. Point of talking directly to children and teenagers. Said she was thinking them all and was immensely proud of them, and Parliament broke into applause. And I think
that's
we
great.
need a shout out for our teenagers.
We do.
Constantly decried and denigrated as the snowflake generation. Okay, they've been asked to pretty much not do much, which is a good thing, but they've done
But
it.
that's hard.
No, absolutely, it is hard.
When you went to war, you had a purpose. You were
Absolutely
saving your
right.
family. You were
And
fighting for your nation. They don't have a purpose.
And
It's
as
like-
Izzy said when I tried to use the World War II analogy, she said, yeah, but now Grandma Thelma and Grandad Gordon could hug each other when they were together. You know, they've been denied sort of intimacy, comfort, hugging. You know, it's been a really tough shout. So I think that is wonderful. And also on that note, Confessions of a Modern Parent has gone up today. So please do head over to either podcast on iTunes.
I've got to go, guys.
And what's it all about? It's all about
crying in front of
Should
your
you
children.
cry in front of your children?
I've got to go, guys, because I've got to have a wee before I do.
yeah.
Who's going to join me over on Instagram? You don't have to dance. You can just watch 20 minutes. Dance your tits off, or on my Instagram. You can join either place.
So if you like the sound of elastic twanging, head
Join
over to
me.
Instagram. If you fancy a new movie trailer, Tenet, Christopher Nolan's new one landed today. I did a quick reaction to that. If there's any movie fans there, it's well worth checking out. Tenet, T-E-N-E-T. Follow Nads on Nadia Sawalha and Family on Instagram. Me, Mark_Adderley, and Popcorn Junkies. We will try and give you a schedule of what's coming later today, because we've got the members live tonight, and we were aware that we've been talking about doing these mental health chats and everything. So with me and Nads, when she's done her workout, we're going to have a little sit down. We're going to have a little chit chat about what order we're going to do things in. But there will be a vlog landing much later today as well. So in the meantime, lots of love, guys. I was just saying, Nads, we'll give them a sense of what's coming up later.
Yeah, we haven't worked out our time.
Yeah, no, we haven't, because we're shooting other stuff, and I know people are asking about
Preston.
cookery at 4 and all that kind of stuff. So, lots of love, guys. See you later.
Cookery at
It's good
4
to be
will be
back.
happening.
It will be happening. There
Yeah.
you go. So, see you later.